Hello everyone, welcome to Chirags SQL Server DBA tutorial. In this video, we'll learn how to manually take transaction log backup of a database in SQL Server. So, what is a tail log backup? A tail log backup creates any log records that have not been yet backup. Okay, so the tail log of backup is prevent work loss. Whatever the data is inserted in the last and we are that backup is not backed up, then it will just give into the tail log backup to keep the tail log chain intact. Therefore you can recover a SQL Server database to its latest point in time, so you must back up the tail of its transaction log backup. So a tail log backup creates any log records, so we discuss about that. So not all the restore scenarios require a tail log backup. You do not need a tail log backup if your recovery point is contained in an early log backup. So a tail log backup is unnecessary if you are moving a replacing overwriting a database. Do not need to restore it a point of time after the most recent backup. So what are the scenario we require a tail log backup? So we recommend that you can tail log backup in the following scenarios. So some of the scenarios we have: if the database is online and your plan to perform a restore operation on the database, begin by backupping of the tail log backup. To avoid the error for the online database, you must use with no recovery options of the backup transaction log SQL statement. So now we'll after in the presentation we'll see that. And second scenario, if a database is offline and fails to start and you need to restore the database, so first backup the tail log backup, because no transaction can be occur in at this time. Using the with no recovery is optional. And next is, if your database is damaged, try to take a tail log backup of using the with the counter after the error option as the backup statement. So on demand of the database backupping, the tail log backup succeed only if the log files are undamaged, the database is in state that support tail log backups, and the database do not contain any bulk log changes. If a tail log backup cannot be created, any transaction committed after the latest log backup are lost. So these are the scenario we need the tail log backup. So two method in the Microsoft SQL Server will do that. So first we'll go through the SSMS, graphical user interface GUI, and second is the T-SQL script. So open the database. So right click on the database, and whatever database you want to get the tail log backup, just right click on that, go to the task and click on the backup. Go ahead with that, and there is an option general, and in general we have a database. So database you can select over there, and recovery model should be full, and the backup type is we want the transaction log tail log backup. So click on the tail log backup and click on the copy only the database, and there is your two options are there, disk and URL. Okay, so disk and URL. Disk we are just taking the backup in the local. URL we have options to Azure storage container, we can get the backup. So I'm taking the disk, click on add. This is the path where destination on the disk, click here and give the tail log backup name. T-log backup. Click on OK. Click on OK. This name came. And next go to the media. There is an option backup the existing media set, append the existing backup set. So always keep the existing append with the existing media set. If you override that, then previous backups are not usable. And next is check media set name and backup set expiration. If you are taking the backup in the media set, then you can set the expiration time date. And next is backup the new media set and erase all the existing backup set. If you are taking the backup in the media set and you want to erase all the existing backup sets, then you have to check in this checkbox. And next is verify backup when finished. So this is a good for the production. If you verify the backup when it's finished, then it will give you the 100% chance to recover the data, restore the data with this backup. And perform checksum before writing to the media. If you are using the media options, then if you perform that, then you will check that media, that everything written on the media or not. Continue with the error. If anything coming with the error, then it will continue or not. It will, just for that, just clicking the this checkbox. And there is your options, two options are there. Truncate the transaction log, and second is backup the tail log and leave the database in the restore state. So for the tail log, I'm just clicking so I'm just clicking the truncate the transaction log. If you want, then go through that and you can backup the tail log and leave the database in the restoring mode. So I'm just checking with that. And next is backup options. So I'm giving the name for the backup. So this is a T-log backup. So I'm giving that T-log transaction log backup. If you want to give the description, then there is options to give the description. And backup set will expire. So after how many days this backup will expire, so you can keep it there. If you are giving your backup to any for the one-time use, or you don't want it, this backup for the further for particular date, so you can go through these options. Next, set backup compression. So there is a three types of that. Use the default server setting, then compress backup, then do not compress backup. So you, with the different default setting, it will not compress the backup. Sorry, for the default setting, it will compress the 10 to 20 25% across the backup size. And compress backup, it will compress the backup into 40 to 60%. And do not compress the backup, it will give you the full size of the backup. And now everything is completed. Now go to the general, click on backup. So backup sales order completed successfully. So this is in restoring mode. Okay, my database is restoring mode. Whenever this is in restoring mode, so what I have to do, I have to just restore the full backup, then differential backup, then transaction log backup. So right click on the database, go to the task and restore and database. So click on media device, just select the backup. I'm taking the full backup. With the one or two step you can go, but one step also you can go, but I'm going through the one by one. So I'm taking the full backup. Okay, so I'm going to restore the full backup. With that, I'm going to override the database and restore with no recovery mode, because I have to restore the differential backup, then transaction log backup. Now I'm going to the group general and clicking OK. So database restored successfully. Still my database in restoring mode, because I have not restored the differential backup till now. So go to the task, restore database, and go to the device, and I'm selecting the backup. My differential backup is this one. Click on OK. Okay, go to the files, options, override, and just restore with no recovery. So click on OK. So my database restored successfully. So still my database in restoring mode, because transaction tail log backup is not restored now. So right click on that task, go to the restore, then click on the transaction log, sales order, So this is my tail log backup, and this is a point in time most recent as possible. Go to the options. If replication is there, then you can prevent with the replication, and other options are there. And now leave the database ready to use the rolling back uncommitted transaction. Additional transaction log cannot be restored. So this is, now I'm going with the restore with the recovery. Just click on OK. So database restored successfully. Now you can see that database is available for the users, and this is not in restoring mode. So this is the way we can restore the we can manually take the transaction log and restore the full database and differential and T-log backup of the database. Now next is T-log is T-SQL script. So this is my script. So I'm going to the script. So here I'm backupping log, and this is sales order, and this is a path where I'm taking the backup, T-log backup with no truncate. So always when we are taking the transaction log, we used to truncate, means next transaction log backup, the next transaction is available for the next transaction log backup, but we are not using the now. So no truncate. This is I am using the copy only, as we just did in the GUI mode, in the copy only, and no format, no init. This is used for the media. So this is the name of the transaction log, and state I'm giving the 5. So this will give you the transaction log and copy only. So let me try this one. Let me change the name. One. Okay, so there is some issue with the sales order because we used by this session. So I'm going to use another database, that is a division rental new. Open that, give the name. So let me run that. Why? Let me connect again. To change the name. Yeah, so 20% is completed. So this was completed in the with the transaction log, T-log backup. So go to the path, we can check here, T-log backup is completed. So in this video we learned manually take the tail backup transaction log backup of a database in SQL Server, and tail log backup capture any log record that have not yet been backed up. So this is the main thing, and we go through the two part, and one is the SSMS graphical user interface, second is the T-SQL script, and this is the script for the transaction log backup. So thank you for watching.